The Tinkers, Chapter 2, Greed. Tommy has been working down at the docks at night, of course, for a week now. Christopher said he was doing a really good job keeping an eye out for the old Bill. He was getting paid, of course, and he got the tights. Don't forget about the tights. Mrs. Johnson, she loved the tights. I don't know what she sees in them, but she thinks men will find them more attractive. Hey, I can say they don't, because I won't get walloped because she's not here. Well, Christopher says tonight I've got a meeting at the docks. Got a big important shipment coming tonight. Something really risky. It can't just be chocolate or tights. It's got to be something really big. It's got a lot of men working on this one tonight. I don't know what it is, but keep my nose clean out of that one. At least I know the better. If only things were that good on the home front. Telling my mum and dad that I'm not giving them any money. That didn't go down well. Especially with the old man. He took that really bad. I'm a bit scared of what's going to happen now. But what happens will happen. So I better get back. Got to keep my eye out for the old Bill. So while Tommy was down the docks keeping an eye out, Billy was back at home with Mrs. Johnson, not his parents. Billy was having fun. Mrs. Johnson was learning them to read. Billy wasn't quite sure about reading. What was the point, he said. Why do I need to learn to read or do sums? You're such a silly boy, said Mrs. Johnson. Of course you need to read. How do you know what you're eating? Well, Billy said, I can see it. I just pick it up and say, I want this. But how are you going to know how much it costs if you don't know maths? They tell me how much it is and I give them the money. Do you know how much the money is? Nope. I'm only 9. Yeah, 9. You should be ashamed of yourself. So she sat him down at the table and showed him money. But he'd seen money before. He wasn't that stupid. But he's never actually had any. Apart from what he gets from cleaning shoes. But his dad takes all of that off him. Don't tell Tommy. They go nuts. So he really don't have any money, Mrs. Johnson said. Your dad's got a lot to answer for. Get my hands on him, he'll pay for it. But he said, no, Mrs. Johnson, please don't. You don't know what my dad's like. He won't waste any time giving you a thump. He's not bothered. He's too drunk and he doesn't care. Or both. So, what's maths? So she tells him how to do his money, adding up and taking away, so he didn't get robbed. So Billy was learning and there was a bang on the door. Mrs. Johnson went to answer. Billy said, please don't answer the door. That's Dad. How do you know? I recognise that bang on the door anywhere. Mrs. Johnson, please leave. Let's just go out the back door and leave, because that's Dad and it sounds like he's really peed off. But Mrs. Johnson didn't believe him. His dad's not that stupid. But he said, you want to bet? Just then the door came flying open. Billy's dad, Alfie, had just kicked the door open and came in. He was absolutely drunk as a stunk, shouting, where's my money? "You're taking my money from me, woman," and punched Mrs. Johnson in the face. Billy tried to get in the way. He took a punch to the stomach, but he still didn't go down. He was defending Mrs. Johnson as his dad grabbed hold of him and just knuckled him right in the face. Poor Billy was out. "Give me my money, woman, I need it," and proceeded to take all the money off Mrs. Johnson and other stuff from the house. Poor Mrs. Johnson's been well and truly robbed. She just lay there, her nose bleeding, her mouth bleeding, the black eye. When he was finished robbing everything, he gave Billy a kick in the nuts. He just lay there crying. "Ow, ow, 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 ow," he cried. He tried to get help, but he couldn't. He couldn't move. He was in agony. Alfie just left. He was happy. He got what he wanted. "I'll be back next week for the rest of me money. You better not stop us this time," he said as he went. Billy was trying to pull himself together, but he didn't really know what to do. He's only 9. He knew what had happened. He managed to get some help from next door. When the woman seen what Alfie had done, the neighbours were furious. They managed to get Mrs. Johnson help. But meanwhile, Tommy was down the docks, had heard his dad had got money and was really concerned now. He said to Christopher, "I've heard a rumour that my dad's come into money. They're saying in the pub he's buying drinks." Christopher said, "Where's your dad getting the money from? Doesn't work." "That's what's worrying us. Can I just nip back to Mrs. Johnson's?" Christopher said, "Tell you what, Bobby, come with me." And Christopher and Bobby and Tommy went to Mrs. Johnson's. When they got there, they found the door smashed open. And what they saw inside, I tell you, Tommy went mad. He was screaming. What's happened? Who did this?" He grabbed Billy, seen the state of him. He was like, "That's it. Who did this, Billy?" He was nearly crying. "Who did this to you?" "Dad did," said Billy. Christopher said, "Your dad did this?" "Yeah, he took all the money and robbed Mrs. Johnson." "Where's Mrs. Johnson?" "She's next door." So that was it. Tommy was absolutely livid. He's only 16. Christopher grabbed him. And then Bobby was trying to stop him from getting out. But he was that angry. Christopher said, "There's other ways to fix this, son. Just stop here. Bobby, don't let him out of this house." Christopher went next door and saw Mrs. Johnson. He's like, "Oh God." This made a grown man cry when he saw the state of her. He was thinking of his own mother. He pulled himself together and said, "That's it. I'm going to do something about this once and for all." He went back next door, got Tommy and Bobby. Tommy was just livid. "What's happening?" Christopher said, "You don't want to know. She's a mess." "What, just crying?" "No, your dad beat the crap out of her." Tommy went nuts. He escaped. He ran to the pub, but he'd missed him. Christopher sent Bobby to get the rest of the gang to find your dad at any cost. They tracked him down. He was in another pub just down the road. Tommy came after. When he got there, the guys were beating the crap out of him. "What we doing to deserve this?" Punch to the stomach. Tommy just run up and just knocked him straight in the face. His dad went down and stamping on him, kicking him. Everybody was kicking him. And Tommy said, "You think this is finished, you old bastard?" They dragged him off down to the docks and threw him into the Thames. when they managed to catch up to Tommy, Tommy was a mess. He thought he just killed his dad, but unfortunately he was still alive. Christopher pulled him out. He didn't want Tommy to get done for murder. Somebody else will do that. Abby said, you just wait. You made a big mistake leaving me alive. You'll pay for this. You will. My kids. You're not my fucking kids. I'll kill yous. Christopher just kicked him in the face and said, you're going to kill nobody. You're going to disappear. And they put him in the back of a truck and took him up north somewhere, in Scotland I believe, and dumped him. The time he gets back, I'll have things fixed, said Christopher. Christopher pulled himself together, dignified. The rage had stopped. Christopher could now speak without crying, thinking of his own mother. Mrs. Johnson was well liked by everybody in the community. She raised everybody's kids, looked after them. She never turned anybody down, always fed the kids. So you can see why everybody was upset by what he did. What he did to that poor woman. Christopher says, right, Mrs. Johnson, you're going to have to move. He knows where you live and he will be back. Yeah, his wife Lily, she's already acting up, wanting the money as well. Christopher said, it's okay, Tommy. I've got a house where she can live. She'll be set. All she's got to do is clean when she gets better. What, be your maid? No, she's not being maid. She's house proud. She just look after the house, but she won't have to pay any rent. Tommy says, okay, Billy, we'll have to get our stuff. Billy, our stuff? What do you mean? Get your clothes. Well, we haven't got many. Yeah, put them in this duffel bag. Where we're going? We have to leave. I've killed Dad. What do you mean you killed Dad? I threw him in the Thames. After I beat him up, I've killed him. But Tommy didn't realise that he's not dead. But he didn't know that. So Tommy and Billy grab all the clothes up. Tommy says, well, we're going to need some canvas. Mrs. Johnson's got some at the back. What do you need canvas for? We're not painting. Not that canvas, you worry. What a kid. Canvas to make a tent. Oh, I've got 2 cricket stumps. I have cricket stumps, yeah. We're not midgets. We use normal sticks, not big ones, for a tent. 2 poles. We'll find them. Just put it in the rucksack. So they put some chocolate in, some fruit, and the wharf. But they didn't have any money. Just then, Christopher and Bobby come. Where you going? Got to get away from here. We can't stop, the police will come. Don't want to catch caught by the police, said Tommy. He was that busy panicking. He couldn't think of anything else. Even though Christopher told him his dad wasn't dead, it wasn't registering. He seen his dad go in the Ripper. He thought that Christopher was just trying to make it easy for him. We've got to leave here, it's not safe. I agree with you, said Christopher. If he shows his face here again, he'll never leave alive, and that's my promise. Come with me. You're a good worker, you kept an eye up. Well, you kept me safe, said Christopher. Here's some money. Wherever you're going, say you're to get some food, I suppose. But I've got some contacts for you. There's a guy who's driving that truck over there. He's going to Luton. Luton? Well, as far as I can get you for now, at least it's, you're getting further away from London. Yeah? Where are you going to go? Well, we've got relatives in York. Do you know whereabouts? No. That's a good start. Do you know the names yet? Well, when you get there, phone the telephone directory. They know everything, like gossips. You'll find out there. Okay, but that's Luton. Yeah, well, when you get to Luton, there's a bus stops there that goes up north. Yeah, it'll go to Manchester, right? When the bus driver opens the boot at the back when he's putting the luggage in, used to jump in when he's not watching and hide behind the luggage. But with Subbicate, no you won't. So when it gets to Manchester, stop. When he opens up the boot, when he's distracted getting out the luggage, get out, grab your bag and leg it. Okay. So they said the goodbyes. See you, Bobby. See you when we get back, Christopher. I'll pay you back when we've got money. Just forget about it. You can pay us back later when everything's done and just give us time and settle, then come back. Okay? Okay. So they go in the wagon. They waved as pulled away. The guy said, he's on the run. None of my business. I'll keep my nose out of it. But he's a bit young, isn't he? I'm 9. Oh, it's okay, kid. You must have done something bad if you're 2 years on the run. Yeah, which is something bad. Don't want to know, son. Your business is your business, not mine. So, off they went to Luton. And sure enough, there was the bus. People were putting in the big suitcases. Billy went to the front. Hey driver, is this the bus to Manchester? While he was distracted, Tommy jumped in the back with a suitcase. But when the driver went out the front to see where the kid was, Billy ran round to the side, dived in the back, pulled the luggage on top of him. The driver said, that's strange, I could have swore there was a kid. Came back and shut the boot. And off they went to Manchester. Everything was going perfect until the stop. And to find out what happens next, you'll have to join me. Thank you.